What's going on, everybody? This is a non-spoiler review of Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Of course, the director, Lee Cronin, the writer, Lee Cronin, who did a recent Evil Dead movie. The horror, people love him as a horror director because he goes for it. Definitely a gory display every time he helms a film. And this is no different. This one stars Jack Rayner, May Calloway from Moon Knight, who I really like a lot. And you've got tons of other people. Hayat Camille, Veronica Falcon. And this movie, essentially, is that there's this journalist played by Rayner and his wife, Leah Costa. And they are in Egypt. Something happens to their daughter. And a bunch of craziness ensues. So basically, when she comes back, she's not the same as she was before. And they basically put that into the lore of the Mummy itself. They set that up. That's about where it ends for me when it comes to the Mummy side of it, right? You get the Egypt side where they are, where it happens. But once you start to get into the nitty-gritty of the horror aspect of what's happening to this child, it seems more like a demon possession movie with the normal tropes of, can we figure this out? How do we rescue our daughter? How do we get this demon away? And who will believe us in the long term? And so with working with the cop, again, played by a Moon Knight, May Calloway. And this is the premise of the story. Now, for me, I'm not a big horror guy, right? So when I watch horror, I want to get involved in the story. I really want to care about the characters and creep me out and do all that stuff, but like really make me invest in what's going on and do something a little different and lock me in. That wasn't the case for this movie for me. I think it relies on the gore. And if you're going for like a gore fest and that's what you dig, then you're going to love this because that's what it is. And that's what Cronin does very well. There's a lot of this stuff. A lot of the actors are constantly, confused and can't believe and shocked. But there's a lot of things that happen sometimes within this movie that you're just like screaming at the characters. Like immediately when the child returns and they get the kid after all this goes down, the Mummy side of it. And you're like, well, I can look, I'm no doctor, but I'm looking, I'm going, this kid shouldn't be home. There should be tons of people watching this kid because this isn't normal. And then one thing happens, you're like, okay, yeah. There's one mention of, maybe we're not suited to take care. It's like, oh, you just want to ship her away. It's like, do you see what's happening? There's a lot of stupid moves made by the characters that kind of drove me nuts overall. But Cronin shoots it really well. There's some creepy moments for it. And I think horror fans, like I said, if you're into the gore thing, then you're going to dig it. For me, it's like they relied on it a little too much. I was waiting. I was like, okay, there's nothing happening. I'm sure something really disgusting is going to happen. Cue the disgusting thing. And that's what happened. It's like that's what the film relies on. It relies on, okay, you just wait another like 7 minutes. And once that happens, ooh, look, cracking bones, skin peeling off. Oh, yuck. And a couple times, and maybe it's me as a dad getting older too. I didn't like the idea of the fact of what happens to this little girl, and what they do to this kid. And that's a completely a me thing. It's not that it's a bad choice. It's just I didn't respond to this movie the way that I think maybe other people would. So I appreciate what he does. I appreciate how he shoots movies. I appreciate his style. I appreciate the people that are going into it. But it just wasn't for me. The music's really creepy. As I said, it moves at a good pace. It's never boring. I mean, it's definitely never boring. There are just so many moves sometimes. Like if there's one particular scene, I don't want to spoil it, where something happens and the reactions is like, oh my God, all right, let's stay here. It's like, what are you doing? It's some of the kind of cliche things that families do in these horror movies. You're like, be smarter, please. And I didn't know, and like I said, for a mummy movie, yes, they kind of relate it a little bit to, well, not a little bit. I mean, what is happening and the overall reason why beforehand. But I didn't know what to expect of this movie. I didn't know what in general, but it's. I think some people are going to really respond, and if you're a horror person, you go in there and you have a fun time with it, especially if you're like gore. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go like 2.8 out of 5 for this one because like I said, I appreciate what Lee Cronin does and how he does these things, but it just ultimately wasn't for me. So do you want to see this movie? Do you care? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Make sure you click like, comment, subscribe. I did an Out of the Theater reaction for this one as well. But that's it. That's my review of Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I'll be back with a review of Michael really soon. All right. See you later.